Yes, we're back with the Rick Jensen Show. Randy Dascher filling in today for Mr. Jensen. And without further ado, let's head out to Wilmington and speak with Antoine. Antoine, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good.
What's going on, man?
Hey, I was just listening to your show and found it very entertaining that I was trying to figure out, since I'm a black man, what's the what was the specific genetic code that I was just trying to figure out what made us act crazier than anybody else when we consumed marijuana.
I was trying to figure out the same thing. You would have to speak with Kansas State Rep, Representative Steve Alford. He's a Republican in the District 124. Yeah, you'd have to ask him. I don't agree with his statement. I think he's a dope.
I found it very funny, man. I definitely like Rick Jensen, but yeah, you're hitting it on the head today, man. You have me laughing.
Thank you, mister.
You have me bagging up today.
Awesome.
I was just trying to figure out, as you was saying that you didn't, I'm pretty sure you don't know, but I just wondered, what was the genetic cursor or whatever it may be that we have that I'm just trying to figure out, so are they saying we smoke it and then we kill people and shoot people and chop people up and everybody else smoking and they chill and eat cookies and ice cream and cereal and watch TV? I mean, it basically, is that what they're saying?
Yeah, white people would eat ice cream and you would shoot people. That's what he's saying.
Oh, okay. If that's true, all right, then I understand. But yeah,
that's the way it works.
I never witnessed anything like that.
Neither have I.
I've heard people make that point, and to me, it's not really like black people or like white people, just in general, saying, oh, well, when people consume marijuana, I knew somebody who went out and they killed this person and that person or did this crazy stuff. And I really say, man, at the end of the day, I think really in reality, that was their mind state. I really don't think it was marijuana that made a person freak out and kill somebody. I mean, at the end of the day, that had to have been somewhere in their mind, or they was just messed up like that. But because for the most part, you see people, they can make you be creative and things of that nature. But you get the person that got the munchies to go eat cereal, watch TV.
Yeah.
Where do you get the energy at to plan? Think you're gonna get away and go kill somebody after smoking weed? I don't understand that.
Yeah. About the only thing I can think of is maybe they're confusing that with. I've heard of people maybe on PCP where it whacks them out so much that maybe they would do that. I've never tried PCP, so I have no idea. But anyone I know who ever smokes some weed ends up playing guitar all night, and
Okay, all right. I just thought I was probably coming from a different world, because I was like, when you were saying, I was like, so what is the genetic makeup and what are we supposed to be doing? I was just curious of why it affects us differently than anybody else.
Yeah, you and I are both curious about that. I think the person that said that state rep is just insane, and I'd say he needs.
But really, at the end of the day, basically, the reasons why they use those scare tactics is, understand that the drug budget is billions of dollars, and it funds a lot of private institutions and things of that nature.
Yep.
So yeah, we got to scare you so that we can continuously get this enormous budget instead of, it's a seed. That's why I don't get it. It's a seed. It's not like you got to put different chemicals or do something to it. All you got to do is put water on it and it grows. So that means the earth meant for us to partake.
I agree wholeheartedly, Antoine. I'm coming up on the news. Thank you for calling, mister.
Okay.
All right, have a great day.
Problem.
Bye-bye.
You too.
All right, hang in there, Steve in Dover. I got to take a break. Stay tuned for the news. It's the Rick Jensen Show. Randy Dascher filling in on WDEL. Yes, it's the Rick Jensen Show. We're back with more of it here. And I want to, without further ado, I want to get out to Steve in Dover, who's been waiting very patiently for 15 minutes. Thank you, Steve in Dover. I appreciate you calling in the show. How you doing, man?
Not bad. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. Now that you called.
Okay. Now, what I was calling for, now, I heard your statistics on pot and everything like that. Do I believe that everybody that smokes pots goes on to doing harder drugs? No. I am speaking, I'm a recovering addict with 25 years clean. Now, I can just speak from experience. Not everybody that smokes pot goes on to doing harder drugs, but I will say that a lot of people in recovery that have done other drugs, first drug that they did was pot.
Okay.
Now, do I believe that medicinally marijuana has a place in our society? Yes. Now, I believe that we're also, trying to make, like, just for instance, Colorado, they decriminalized it and they have the stores to do it, and all they're doing is they're raising tax money.
Yeah.
I think for the wrong reason. I think we're opening up a can of worms for legalizing marijuana to raise taxes. I think they're opening up a can of worms that they're not ready to deal with the long-term consequences.
Well, I don't want to lock people up for using marijuana. That's my main thing, because I'm a real fiscal conservative. I don't want to pay to have people put in jail for doing something that only hurts themselves. You're not hurting anyone else but yourself, and then many people would argue you're not even hurting yourself.
Right. I mean, I agree with that. I mean, just for that reason. Now, I believe everybody has the right to do what they want to do. However, there are, an ounce or anything like that. I mean, look, my son smokes pot, and I'm not condemning anybody. Now, if he stays there, I'm happy. I mean, but like I said, a lot of people in recovery, first drug they did was pot.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think it's a can of worms that we have to be careful about opening, because long term, I don't know if the government's ready for. I mean, right now with the opioids, I mean, this is the largest addiction that's out there right now, and it's killing a lot of people.
I would like to see this.
Pot lead you to that? No.
I'd like to see the statistics, whether people that are on opioids really started with weed. I'd really like to see those. No,
I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying a lot of people, like I say, people that I know in recovery or have been around coming in and out of the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous. A lot of people started with pot.
I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of them started with cigarettes too, before pot.
Cigarettes, and then you can also go with alcohol.
Yeah.
You mentioned about prohibition. I don't believe that we need to go to that point.
Yeah.
But I do believe that we have to be careful with the doors that we're opening.
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate your opinion, and I respect your opinion. All right. Awesome, man.
And I respect yours.
Cool.
Okay. Thank you, and you have a great day, sir.
You too,
Bye.
Steve. Thank you. You have a great day, too. All right, fantastic. And let's go to Leslie on line 1. Leslie, thank you for calling the program.
Thank you. Happy New Year. Thanks for taking my call. I really disagree with you about marijuana not hurting anybody but themselves. If you're stoned and you're in a car, you're going to hurt yourself or somebody else. And as a child born in the 50s, in college in the 70s, I saw the problems. My roommate flunked out, and she used pot, and I work for 40 years. I've worked in public health education, and when I presented this question of legalization of marijuana to my physician, he just shook his head and said, several of my patients, my younger patients, use it. I don't know if their brains will ever recover. And as far as statistics, the male brain, the frontal lobe that's decision-making, is not complete until age 25. So basically what we're doing is, we call it cannabis now, which kind of sanitizes it, makes it politically correct. But we are handicapping a whole generation. A whole generation. The people who are going to be in charge are going to be harmed by tetrahydrocannabinol, THC, pot.
Okay.
Or as we old hillbillies say, the wacky weed with roots in hell. I teach public health. I lived in Haiti, where the planes land to pick up or drop off the cocaine. And, it really scares me because I don't trust my government. Anytime they want to regulate something and get money, that gives me real pause.
Well, I'm not necessarily for it for the sake of getting tax revenue. A lot of people are saying that that's why they're for it. I'm for it not being. I'm for it being legal so that people don't go to jail. I don't care if they grew it in their own house without the fear of having to go to jail, because I still feel that they're not harming anyone. I know you disagree with me, and that's fine. It's good, healthy discussion to have. Going back to what you said about smoking it and getting in a car accident. Yes, reckless driving should still be illegal, whether it be you're reckless because you're too drunk, you're reckless because you're too high, you're reckless because you're such a bad driver, you're reckless because you're texting. So I'm against reckless driving. I would still want that illegal.
Yes, but you can't pick and choose when a person goes to apply for a job. They have a drug test and they can pick up THC, tetrahydrocannabinol. And I live off of West 23rd and Market. And West 23rd is like the drug capital of Wilmington and the murder capital. And I see a young man under 21 pull out a roll of money, And I hear him say, but I've got the good stuff. We are playing with fire.
He has that wad of money because it's illegal. If it were legal, that would drive the business of selling it right out of business. The reason cocaine is so expensive, a gram is like a packet of Sweet and Low. It's that small. The reason it's $100 a gram is because it's illegal. If it were legal, it would be $5 a gram. So you wouldn't have that element and the lure to sell it to make so much profit if it were legal.
Let me make another point. It's already black marketed. It is not like 2 packs of Sweet and Low. Give me a break.
I'm talking about the size of a gram is a Sweet and Low is a gram. And that's what guys are selling when they sell Coke for $100. They're selling not Sweet and Low, but they're selling 1 gram. That little teeny amount, they're getting $100 for. My point being, that's because it's illegal. That's why it's $100 for that little amount.
If you make something legal, my experience with young people is because it's legal, that's an endorsement for alcohol, for cigarettes, for whatever is harmful. I deal with all that. I'm a public health educator. I've lived in 3 different countries. And the toughest place I live right now is off of West 23rd. And I'm telling you, we are destroying the young males of our society. We are handicapping their frontal lobe, their decision-making. And you can call it cannabis, you can call it whatever you want. It's still an extremely serious drug. THC, tetrahydrocannabinol, is as powerful as cocaine in the brain.
Well, I'd like to hear some other expert other than you being on. Now, in all fairness, you're on the other end of my phone saying that, but I don't know that that's true. I would like to hear 100 experts' opinions on that. I would probably respectfully disagree with that. And you also said when it's legal, then kids are going to use it. Alcohol isn't legal for kids. You need to be 21 years old to buy it. You need to be 18 years old to buy cigarettes. So it's not legal for any children, cigarettes or alcohol. They're not legal for children.
So they send their older brother in to buy it. Come on. Get some common sense here.
Are you for prohibition? Are you for that of alcohol?
Not. I'm 64 years old and I've had an education, and I know what prohibition did. I know what wood alcohol makes people blind. Give me a break. I think there's a lot. If you want to Google it, tetrahydrocannabinol, THC, and get your 100 other opinions. But we've sanitized it by calling it cannabis.
Ma'am, your phone broke up. I wanted to hear, are you for prohibition of alcohol or are you not for it?
I'm not for prohibition. Good night. I don't want to go back to that time because, like I said, they had stills and they had made wood alcohol, which causes blindness. No, of course not. That's ridiculous. Let's not do apples and oranges, okay?
I think they're apples and apples, but let's just agree to disagree. I have a lot of other callers, but I really appreciate you calling in. And
do you have children, sir?
Do I have children? Is that what you said?
Yes, because do you care about people from age 18 to 25 who are destroying their frontal lobe?
First, I don't. To answer your question, I don't have children, but I care about everyone. I wouldn't hurt a fly. I'm the nicest person you ever met. I never
have
met
you ever used pot?
Have I ever what? Smoked pot? Yes, I have.
Do you recommend it?
I think people need to make their own minds up. I don't recommend anything. I mean, that's something people need to make their own minds up about.
Okay, well, I don't want to sound proud, but I have worked in public health for 40 years. I have seen the detriment, and I know the minds of young people. My whole career has been with young people. And when something is made legal, young people consider it an endorsement.
Okay.
And my son sent his girlfriend's mother in to buy beer, and she brought out the hard stuff, and guess what? He got arrested because there was a sting.
All right.
He's a charming young man, and she...
Well, she broke the law doing that. You're not allowed to do that. And, I wouldn't buy beer for a minor. I would never do it because I don't want to go to jail. So I'm not going to do that. So
that's who got in trouble. My son. She was not punished for.
I find that hard to believe that she wasn't punished. I'm not saying you're lying, but I find that hard to believe that she wasn't punished. Usually, that's the person that gets in the most trouble. Hey, I got 3 other callers on, but I really appreciate you calling in the show. I hope you call again. Okay.
Is Rick coming back soon?
Yeah, Rick's back tomorrow. Okay.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you so much for calling. Have a great day. All righty, and let's go to Ashley in Wilmington. Thank you for holding, Ashley. Hold on. I hit the next button. Let's go. Ashley in Wilmington, are you there?
I'm here. How are you?
I'm great. How are you? Thank you for calling the program.
Good. Absolutely. That was a tough call. You handled that well.
Thank you.
So I'm for it. I think I don't see all of these side effects that people talk about. But my big thing is everyone wants to keep pot from being legalized, but let's talk about what the real problem is. Alcohol. Alcohol is way worse than marijuana will ever be and causes way more problems.
I would agree
I don't hear anyone saying that what's that?
I would agree with you on that. I think I have friends that smoke pot and they're fine, and they quit drinking 20 years ago, and their lives are very productive now. But back 20 years ago, they woke up in alleys. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we hear about DUIs all the time from people out drinking and driving, and let's address that issue before we want to not legalize marijuana.
Absolutely. I agree with you wholeheartedly.
It's crazy. It is just crazy. And that I don't understand how that last conversation went. You really did handle that well. But
thank you so much, Ashley.
It does not cause the problems that everyone is making it out to be. I mean, people smoke pot, they get high, they want to sit home on their couch and eat.
Yeah, and watch Goodfellas again.
Yeah, no one's out murdering people. No one's out causing 5-car pileups. And yeah, I'm sure there are some instances, but and with the young people, we're not going to stop young kids from wanting to make illegal purchases.
Absolutely.
They're still going to do it.
Yep.
We need to regulate it better, but they're still going to go out. They're going to get the alcohol. They're going to get the cigarettes. They're going to do all of that. And I will say, as a smoker, not cigarettes, I quit that a year and a half ago, but I have not ever tried another drug. I have smoked pot since I was 19 years old and have never touched another drug in my life, and nor do I drink. So
Awesome.
There's, not everyone turns to other harder drugs.
Well, thank you for calling in. I'm coming up on a break, but I appreciate everything
Right on.
you said.
I dig it. Yep, no problem. Thank you.
Have a great day. Take care.
You.
All righty, fantastic. Yes, more of it's coming your way. We have Michelle in Dover, Bill in Wilmington, Steve in Smyrna. Well, I should have brought this up at noon. Hey, we'll get to all your calls. Trust me. Hang in there. It's the Rick Jensen Show. My name's Randy Dasher. I'm filling in today for Mr. Jensen. Stay tuned. More of it's on the way here on WDEL. Yes, back with the Rick Jensen Show. Randy Dasher filling in for Mr. Jensen. And let's not keep Michelle waiting any longer. And she is on line 3. Michelle, thank you for calling the program. Thanks for holding.
How are you doing, honey?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm all right. I got to tell you, at this point, I'm not even sure why I'm on the line, except for the lady before the last lady was just blowing me. I'm not sure what the heck even the question was. I told the guy, like, is it, pro marijuana or not pro marijuana or what the deal is? But I guess here's my story.
Okay.
I mean, 39 years old. I lost 2 husbands. Well, my children's father about 8 years ago.
I'm sorry to hear
husband
that.
7 years ago. And then my mom a year after that.
Oh,
so
geez.
unfortunately, my family had a hard hit of, a lot of important, people in our family. And I got to tell you, I have 3 kids. They're now 16, 18, and 20. But at that time, it was literally the worst time of my life. And I found that, I had never done drugs before. So when I was like, I don't know, 30-something years old or whatever. And I started drinking like a nut. And I tell you, at one point, I just couldn't even get out of bed. And it was so bad, I ended up putting my truck into a ditch.
Oh, wow.
And my kids almost lost me. Something that stupid. And at that time, I was just so heartbroken and so depressed and so upset over all the things that had occurred. And I just couldn't even lift my head up. And I wondered, at feeling like this, I wonder how my children feel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I, as an adult, can't even deal with the trauma, that's happened around us. And yet they're surviving every day and going forward. And I chose to drink.
Yeah.
And after that, you go to the doctor and you tell them how depressed you are and you talk to 17 shrinks and you let your life out and really nothing gets any different or any better. Things, they do what they do.
Yeah.
But a lot of times the first thing they do is they send you to Lexapros or antidepressants and these kinds of things. And I'll tell you what they do. They just make you oblivious to every feeling or emotion in the world. And then at that point, you don't care if your kids are running with knives, because they're just, you don't have a care in the world. You don't have any emotions whatsoever. And I started getting high. And I tell you what, it wasn't until that point in time that I started smoking weed. It was my choice at 30-something years old. I put that bottle down. I never picked up a drink again. And I can fully function as a normal 40-year-old woman. I have a full-time job. I open up new stores. And every single day to continue to do so as a normal human being. But people, like the woman said before, you can't get drunk and go to work.
Oh, yeah.
You damn
Absolutely.
sure can't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And most of the time, people are walking around high and you don't even know it anymore.
Yeah.
And you never heard of alcohol saving anybody's life.
No.
You never heard of these kinds of things. So I don't understand why everybody is so against it. I hear a lot of all they want to do is sit on their couch and eat. I have the opposite effect. I don't sit at all.
Nice.
And I'm rarely actually hungry. I find a lot of times I will smoke to not eat.
Well, good for you.
Funny.
I appreciate your call.
I think it is definitely to each his own, and maybe we shouldn't be doing it at 16.
Yeah.
But get over it already. Like you said, there are things that are for people, and there are things that are not for people. And at a certain age limit, when you're able to handle those things, like alcohol, should just be done and away with. Because
Awesome.
a 60-year-old man still can't drive around drunk.
Absolutely. Thank you, Michelle. I'm coming up on news. I really appreciate your call.
No problem.
All right. Have a great day.
Have a good one.
All right. Bye-bye. Hey, stay tuned. There's more of it coming your way here on The Rick Jensen Show with Randy Dasher filling in. Alrighty, back with The Rick Jensen Show. I'm Randy Dasher filling in today for Rick Jensen. And let's get out to Bill in Wilmington. That Bill? Hold on. That button. Okay. Bill in Wilmington, thank you for calling the program. Thanks for holding, man.
Right. Good afternoon, Randy. I just wanted to comment on the pot or cannabis. First off, I don't think cannabis cleans up something that I really don't think it needs to be cleaned up. I think the effects of it have been questionable. When I smoked, I'm 58. I smoked it since I was 13. I quit for years. I don't have any physical addiction to it. I will say there are times where I'll be antsy that I normally have it, but no more so than there are times when I'm home and I have other beverages to drink and I want a carbonated soda, and I will get up and get dressed and drive to go get a soda. Okay. I may do the same thing to get a joint instead of because I don't drink. And as far as the gateway thing goes, I think it's no more a gateway than to say breast milk would be a gateway to fatty foods. It's kind of the initial thing that I think most people try. And you brought up the cigarettes and alcohol, probably in order. That's probably how I tried things. Mm-hmm. And the liquor didn't stick because I don't like waking up the next day and feeling like crap. I've never called out sick from work because I smoked too much pot the night before. And I don't really have I don't have any criminal record. And to my knowledge, it has not affected me in a negative way whatsoever. And I think it's probably, if pot wasn't around, I would have started, my gateway thing, I guess, would have been Coke. I would have tried that. So I'm glad it was there for me. I think it was a blessing that I chose that as my drug of choice versus liquor or something like that. I think it's a lot safer. And I think, why not I don't think it's a reason to make it legal, but I think that to actually make money off of it for the government's a great idea, and it's something that helps everybody. So,
well, I'm for the legalization just because I don't want you to ever have to go to jail for what you do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's crazy that we have a lot of people in jail for. I didn't grow up poor. I didn't grow up rich, but if I grew up in the inner city and I would probably, if I was watching my family struggle, I'd probably be selling whatever it was that, was available for me to make money to get by. And I think, like you said, if you legalize that, you don't have the guy on the street with a lot of money because he's not going to be in business very long.
Thank you for getting my point. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you, buddy.
I appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Take care. All right, awesome. Yes, he gets what I'm talking about. Thank you so much, Bill and Wilmington. And let's go, without further ado, to Steve in Smyrna. Steve in Smyrna. Yes, how are you?
Well, the previous guy that smoked it for years and years, he says, 20, 30 years, right?
Yes.
Yeah, if he would have spent, let's say he spent $1,000 a year, that's $30,000 compounded with interest invested. He'd probably be a millionaire by now. If he'd spent every penny that he spent on marijuana, he'd probably be a millionaire. But anyway, let me ask you a question. I just don't want to run around and answer. Would you prefer for your surgeon to be a marijuana user or a non-marijuana user if you had to have a surgery for something? And tell me why.
It doesn't.
No, answer the question. Don't give me a runaround, please.
Either one. It would. Whoever has a better record.
No. They're exactly the same record. You don't know. You don't know. You don't know anything about the surgeon. Don't give me a runaround. You don't know anything about the surgeon. All you know is one is a marijuana user, the other is not. Now, I'm not going to tell you he used it the day before during the operation. All I'm going to tell you is he is a marijuana user. You don't know anything about either one of them. You have to pick one. Which one would you pick? Okay. And tell me why.
Can I explain in a very short sentence? Now that you said
you have to pick one. Pick one. I'm picking the one that doesn't.
Yeah, you know why? Because you just said you don't know whether he's currently using it during your operation. So if that's my choices, then I'm going to say the one that doesn't, because I probably don't want the guy high doing it. But if he got high the night before, he's not going to be high the next morning.
No, it doesn't matter. No, but see, you're telling me that you want, for surgery, what about a pilot? Would you rather have a pilot that smokes it a week ago? I don't even want to take the chance that I want a clean slate on certain things in society. We've got enough idiots out here roaming around deadheads, getting 5 and 6 DUIs, and the state of Delaware lets them go for what do they call it? Reckless alcohol-related reckless driving. I know a guy's got 8 DUIs. He's gotten off of every one of them. Going to court, playing the system. He gets the right lawyer. He gets a little. He goes to a state-paid rehab because he's on Medicaid, and then he gets out and he violates probation. They let him go over and over. Here's another thing. What do you think these marijuana guys, the guys that sell marijuana, what do you think they're going to start going to McDonald's to work regular jobs? Like, oh, lost my job. Can't sell marijuana anymore. I guess I got to get a real job. No, they're going to do the next crime.
What are you talking about? The ones that are currently selling it now illegally?
Yeah, the ones that are selling it now illegally. You think now you think they're out of business? You don't think these non-violent drug offenders that are such nice people that never rough anyone up when they owe them money? I love the term non-violent drug offender. Yeah, I'd love to set interview a drug dealer. Says, yeah, when people don't pay, I just let them slide. Yeah, we don't rough them up. No, we just it's a credit system. If they it's like that.
I think in the real pot world, no one ever buys it without paying in full and then walking away. You might be talking about crack or something like that where you buy it on credit, but people that smoke pot usually have full-time jobs and they buy $40 worth of weed and then they go buy $40 worth of weed 2 weeks later.
Yeah, and you know what? I like to know what kind of full-time jobs they got because I doubt if they're on a job. You know what? I like to see a program where, maybe you can't force somebody to take a drug test to get a job, but I'll tell you, I'd like to have if I started my business, say, hey, if you take a drug test, I'd appreciate it, but you don't have to. And you know what? If I'm applying for a job, I'm going to go in here and say, I will take a drug test every week if you want me to. I will take as many drug tests as you want. And that's what people that don't do drugs should go in. When they get interviewed for a job, they should say, look, you want me to take a drug test? I'll take a drug test every week if you want. And you know what? I'd hire that guy.
Well,
instead of the one, I know my rights. Oh, you can't take my rights from me. No, I want somebody who's clean.
And
that woman that was 40 years in the business, you didn't want to hear nothing she had to say. It reminds me of people that are teachers that have been in it, and they say the school system's falling apart, and you got the Harvard professors that come up with all these ideas about, testing is not good. Oh, they need stimulation. Put the problem kids in there with the good ones, and they're not on the front line.
Well,
they're not on the front line. They
Can I cut in for a minute? Can I cut in for a minute?
Go ahead.
I gave that woman, I believe her name was Ashley, or maybe it was Michelle. I forget. I gave her plenty of time to talk. She said what what's the THC? She said what THC is 3 times. I gave her a lot of time on the air. So when you say I didn't give her any time, I gave her plenty of time. So I take umbrage with that.
You didn't agree with it.
I didn't agree with it because she's not going to change my mind.
No, but she's been in the business for years. She's seen it. She told you what she's seen it. It's like, do you ever see people on TV that it's like the Border Patrol people? The guys on the border are telling you there's problems, and then a Democratic senator from Maine or somewhere is saying, "Oh, there's no problem. They're good people." And then the people down there on the border, they won't listen to them.
She's one person telling me that. Are you shocked that
a whole lot of them?
No, she's one person telling me her opinion. Are you shocked that I didn't suddenly go, oh, wow, a whole lifetime of feeling one way. She talked to me for 10 minutes on the phone. I'm going to change my opinion. I'm not really that shallow. I think I would probably need to hear from a zillion other people to change my opinion on that. I mean, are you shocked by that at all? And also, you mentioned, do I know anybody that has a good job? I know a fantastic carpenter that's been smoking all of his life. He's wonderful. So he's the hardest working person I know.
There's exceptions. There's the 5'6" basketball player. But in general, we're going to have problems. We're going to have big problems in this society. We're not going after the core problems. We always change the laws to fit the problem. And that's with school systems, the prison systems. Look at the drugs in prison. They get them in prison. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know how they pull that off, but somehow they get them in there.
They're getting them in there. That's another thing we can't even stop. Everything's messed up. But why add to the problem? Look, we added gambling in Dover. Okay, there wasn't people. Now people are broke. There's the higher crime, everything, because everybody thought, oh, it's a fun thing. Let people have a little fun with their money. No, it leads to problems. Don't do anything. Don't make laws that make people stupider.
Well,
and I'll let you go.
All right. Thank you, mister. I appreciate it. Take care. Take care. Bye-bye. All right. Fantastic. I got to tell you, gambling's legal, and that's one thing I've never tried, and I have no desire to try it, whether it's legal or illegal. If I wanted to try it, I would have tried it when it was illegal. All right. Let's go to Graham. Thank you, Graham. Am I pronouncing your name right?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Graham in Wilmington. Thank you for calling the program.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I think the question that, I want the answer to is not whether or not we should legalize marijuana and then we can get caught up in a debate about, freedom of choice and, individuality and whatnot. The real question is, is it better for a society to have more people smoking weed or less people smoking weed? What do you think about that?
I think it's an individual choice. I think people react differently to different things. And I want to live in a society where no one has a fear of going to jail for smoking weed.
Okay, well, I'll ask you this question. Do you think it's better for society to have marijuana be more available or less available?
Well, I don't really have an opinion one way or the other. It depends on the person, on the individual. I mean, someone can be a lazy, worthless person, whether they completely sober or whether they smoke weed all day. I know productive people, like I said, that smoke weed all day. So,
well, there's productive people who smoke. I mean, we all have our anecdotes. I'm an anecdote myself. I've smoked plenty of weed. Nobody knows more about weed than me. I've been around it my entire life. I'm 23 years old. I grew up in the generation of really strong weed, okay? A lot of these baby boomers who are calling in here have no idea what weed is today. It is way different. And, I quit because it had a bad effect on my life and it had a bad effect on the lives of everybody around me. I personally don't know any hardworking, dynamic, successful, goal-oriented weed smokers. I'm sure there's some out there, but I would imagine those people probably don't smoke that much weed. Anyway, I mean, we can sit around and wait for empirical evidence about that, but I don't think that we should go making weed more available. I think for most people, it's generally a bad thing. My assumption is for at least 51% of people, their lives would be made worse by regular marijuana use. That's what I'm saying. I'm for the legalization of it because I don't want those people going to jail or having the fear of going to jail. Whether they're more productive or not remains to be seen, and I appreciate your opinion on it. I mean, and congratulations for stopping, and you successfully quit. So good for you. Well, you could say that you could make this freedom of choice argument about anything. Anything.
I do it about victimless crimes.
You can take it to heroin.
Yeah, and I am for legalizing heroin. I don't want to lock up people in jail for heroin because I'm a fiscal conservative. I don't want to pay for people to go to jail for doing something that only harms themselves. And I know you'll say people in their lives get harmed too. I've heard all that too. But the end result is I don't think we're treating alcohol now. We're calling that a disease. I think it's an insult to cancer. But if we're going to call alcohol a disease, then we should call heroin addiction a disease. And would you put somebody in jail for having cancer? And the obvious answer is no. All right.
The main variable with all this drug use is simply the availability of drugs.
Well, you got weed all your life when it was illegal. It's not even legal yet, and you got it. So did you ever have trouble getting it?
Yeah, it wouldn't make a big difference. I just think that what we should be careful about is how we talk about marijuana. Sitting around and don't talk about it like it's cool, because it's not. It's a drug that bogs you down. It doesn't have a lot of acute consequences for most people. But and you're not going to go completely out of control, although there are some people who do have psychotic breaks on marijuana. That's a known phenomenon. It's not something that we should be talking about in a positive or even a neutral way. Like, we should, be talking about this as something that is, it's a vice. I mean, it's a vice. It's just, it should be talked about just like gambling, just like having sex with a prostitute, just like, drinking. Although we talk about drinking like it's some, great freedom that we, should all enjoy, and not something that can, but you know what I mean? It's,
I got you, Graham. Hey, I'm running out of time. Okay. I got 3 other people in line. I appreciate you calling in though. Thank you, man.
All right.
Have a great day. Take
Bye.
care. Bye-bye. All right. Hey, we'll be back with more of it here. It's the Rick Jensen Show. My name's Randy Dasher. I'm filling in today for Mr. Jensen. We'll try to get to everyone on the line. The lines are jammed up. Wow, what a topic. Alrighty. Let's do a lightning round because we have 3 people on hold and very little time to wrap this up. So let's go to Andrew in Wilmington. Andrew's on line 3. Andrew in Wilmington, thank you for calling. Please try to make it quick.
Yes, indeed. I do have a quick comment. But first and aside, the gentleman that was talking about the surgeon, I did a little bit of a wiring job on a private spine surgery center, and the guy was into heavy metal, and he was very specific about the fact that he needed loud heavy metal music. I would be a little more concerned about a guy that was basically headbanging while working on your spine. But that's just the aside. My one comment is very, very simple. I was like, we have an epidemic of people on antidepressants, Xanax, Prozac, yada, 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 all of that stuff. If you could just come home, smoke a little weed, and relax, you would get the pharmaceutical industry out of the antidepressant big time.
Thank you, Andrew. I appreciate it. I don't mean to cut you short. I want to try to get the other people to hold. All right. Thanks, man.
I understand. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. And let's go to... wait a minute. Take that one off. I hope I didn't miss that guy. Steve is on line 4. Okay. Hold on. Let me drop and then hit 4. Hey, Stefan, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for calling. Quickly, if you can, I got one more caller. I'd love to get to her before the end of the show, but I appreciate you waiting. What would you like to say?
When I was young, I used to hear a term, history repeats itself, and I guess because I was younger, I really didn't believe it, or I wasn't old enough to be able to see history repeat itself.
Yeah.
But I think the same thing is going on with the marijuana that went on with prohibition before my time. I think it's hypocritical to say it's legal if the government does it, but it's illegal if somebody else does it.
Yes, absolutely. I appreciate everything you said. Thank you, mister. All right, Stefan? Thanks, Brian.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Have a great day. I don't mean to cut you short. It's the end of the show. Thanks. All right, and let's go to, I told you I'd get to everybody. Let's get to Jennifer. You got 30 seconds. How you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for calling.
I'm awesome. I just wanted to say that I do feel that marijuana should be legalized. I'm totally against the whole antidepressant, just like he said. I think that a lot of people from personal experience and people that I know, the pills are just, in my opinion, just not good for you. I think that they're more harmful, and I think that also they make a big deal out of it. I mean, it's been around forever. I agree with you as far as the dealers. There aren't any dealers like smacking people around, especially the weed dealers. They're really like cool. I mean, like you said, people who work and smoke, they go buy their $40, they come back and they go back in 2 weeks and get some more, and they don't hurt anyone. They're very chillaxed and stayed home. So I don't see what the big deal is. I know you had a caller a few callers ago. He was very ranting and upset. He kind of seems like he should go home and smoke a joint and just chillax.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jennifer. I don't mean to cut you short. I got to wrap up. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.
All right. There you go. All right. Fantastic then. Hey, I want to thank everybody for calling. Jeff, Antoine, Steve, Leslie, Ashley, Michelle, Bill, Steve, Graham, Andrew, Stefan, and Jennifer, thank you so much for calling. Thank you so much for listening. I'm Randy Dasher, filling in today for Rick Jensen. Tune in tomorrow. Rick's back. Thank you, everyone who called in and participated in the show, because without you, it's not worth doing. Have a great day, everybody.
WDEL Wilmington, WDEL Canton, WSTW HD2 Wilmington.
WDEL, your on-the-go news source.